Good morning everyone. In this video, we are going to cover the current affairs. For mobile optimized ebooks, please install GKToday Academy app. You can attempt the quiz in this app and you can read detailed explanation. For regular updates, please join our Telegram channel. The link is given in the description box. We have started a new channel, Civils Academy. You can subscribe to it if you find it relevant. For hard copy books, you can visit our website gktbooks.com. Now, let's start. According to the Government of National Capital Territory of Delhi Amendment Act, the Government of Delhi means, so recently this act was in controversy, and as per this Amendment Act, Government of Delhi means Lieutenant Governor of Delhi, that is LG. The elected representatives of Delhi will have to seek the opinion of LG before taking any executive decision. Please note that Delhi is a union territory with legislature. So the legislatures are elected and government is formed and it is headed by Chief Minister. Now, in order to take executive decisions, they need the opinion of Lieutenant Governor. Now, please note that the 69th Constitutional Amendment Act of 1991 provided special status to Delhi and declared it NCT, that is National Capital Territory. And subsequently, Lieutenant Governor was nominated as the administrator of Delhi and Legislative Assembly was created for Delhi. Next question is, which international institution has released the report Developing Asia's Economic Outlook? So, this report has been released by Asian Development Bank. As per the report, the Asia's economy shrunk by 0.2% in 2020. Now, it is recovering. Now, please note that ADB, that is Asian Development Bank, was established in 1966. The headquarters of Asian Development Bank is in Manila in Philippines. As of 2018, it is the latest available figure. So as of 2018, Japan and USA are the largest shareholders in this Asian Development Bank. On the other hand, China is on third position and our country is on fourth position in terms of shareholding in Asian Development Bank. Recently, this Asian Development Bank was also in news as Election Commissioner of India, Mr. Ashok Lavasa, resigned to join Asian Development Bank as Vice President. Recently, Asian Development Bank was also in news as it became the member of NGFS. What is NGFS? It is Network for Greening the Financial System. Recently, this NGFS was also in news as RBI, that is our central bank, joined NGFS. Now, please note that this NGFS was launched during Paris One Planet Summit, and the summit was organized in 2017. Recently, RBI was in news because it increased the limit for customers of payment bank. So previous limit was 1 lakh rupee. Now it has been increased to 2 lakh. Recently, Airtel Payment Bank became the first payment bank to enable the 2 lakh rupee limit on payment bank account. Next question is, Yanbu port is located in which country? So this is a port in Saudi Arabia, and to be specific, it is on the western side of Saudi Arabia. So this is the geographical location of this port. So this is Yanbu port, this is Red Sea, this is Saudi Arabia. So now this is the actual location. So this is Saudi, this is Yemen, this is Gulf of Aden, Red Sea, Egypt, this is Suez Canal, Mediterranean Sea, Arabian Sea, Strait of Gibraltar, Lakshadweep Sea, Bay of Bengal, this is our country, this is Persian Gulf. Answer in comment box what is the name of this particular sea. Recently, Saudi Arabia was also in news as major oil and gas producers formed Net Zero Producers Forum. So, 5 of the world's major oil and gas producers came together to form this alliance. These 5 countries are Qatar, USA, Saudi, Canada, and Norway. Next question is, Immunization Agenda proposed by WHO. WHO is World Health Organization and their partners, that is UNICEF and Gavi, aims to save 50 million lives by which year? So by 2030, the agenda is to save 50 million lives. Now, it is a joint initiative of WHO in collaboration with UNICEF and Gavi, and it is a part of Immunization Agenda 2030. Part of Immunization Agenda 2030, idea is to save 50 million lives within the year 2030 with 75% of the children in poor countries. In simplest term, the objective of this initiative is to ensure proper vaccination and immunization against several prevailing diseases. Now, in the context of WHO and Gavi, there is one more alliance. It is COVAX. So it is an alliance formed by these institutions to provide vaccines for coronavirus. So it is a COVID-19 vaccine global access. It is a global initiative to provide equitable access to the COVID-19 vaccines. So three major partners of COVAX are Gavi, WHO and CEPI. What is CEPI? It is Coalition for Epidemic Preparedness Innovations. Gavi is Global Vaccine Alliance, WHO is World Health Organization. Next question is, India recently agreed to establish 2+2 ministerial dialogue between foreign and defense ministers of which country? So far, we have 2+2 level dialogue with three countries. One is USA, one is Japan, and one is Australia. Now please note that previously with Australia we had 2+2 secretariat level dialogue. Now recently it was upgraded to ministerial level. So with these three countries we have 2+2 dialogue. What is the meaning of this term 2+2? That means two ministers from our side and two ministers from the specified country. And which two ministers? So these are going to be foreign minister and defense minister. Okay, this is the meaning of 2+2. Now India is planning to have 2+2 dialogue with Russia as well. Please note that these four countries, that is India, USA, Japan and Australia, are the part of Quad. Quad is Quadrilateral Security Dialogue. So Russia is going to be the first non-Quad member where we are going to have 2+2 dialogue. These four countries were also in news because of Malabar naval exercise. Recently Russia was in news as it announced that Roscosmos, that is the space agency of Russia, is going to set up its own space station and it will be functional by 2030. Russia was also in news because of S-400 missile defense system. Recently Turkey purchased these missile defense system and because of that USA imposed sanctions on Turkey, and these sanctions were imposed as a part of CAATSA. What is CAATSA? It is countering American adversaries through Sanctions Act. Recently Russia was also in news because of Sputnik vaccine, as recently this vaccine was approved in our country. So far we have approved three vaccines. One is this Sputnik, one is Covaxin and one is Covishield. Now the simple trick to remember this is, this S stands for SII, that is Serum Institute of India. So this Covishield is by Serum Institute of India in collaboration with AstraZeneca, and Covaxin is by ICMR and Bharat Biotech. The headquarters of Bharat Biotech is in Hyderabad, while the headquarters of Serum Institute of India is in Pune. Next question is, Plain of Jars is famous archaeological site located in which country? So it is a site in Laos. Laos is an Asian country. Let's have a look at its geographical location. So this is the location of Laos. So this is the location of this specific archaeological site in Laos. This is Vietnam, this is Cambodia, Thailand, this is Gulf of Thailand, this is Myanmar or Burma, Andaman Sea, Bay of Bengal, and this is China. Four states share border boundary with Myanmar. That means four Indian states. One is Arunachal Pradesh, second is Nagaland, third is Manipur, fourth is Mizoram. So these four states share border boundary with Myanmar. So this Plain of Jars is a famous archaeological site located in the northern Laos. Now in the context of archaeology, we have ASI, that is Archaeological Survey of India, and it is an organization under Ministry of Culture. Presently, DG of ASI is V. Vidyavati, and ASI was founded in 1861. Next question is, which sector of borrowers form the highest share in applying for Agriculture Infrastructure Fund? So correct answer is PACS, that is Primary Agricultural Credit Societies. So recently, Agri Infrastructure Fund has crossed 8,000 crore rupees mark. The largest share of applications is contributed by PACS. So approximately 58% applications are from PACS, then from agri entrepreneurs, and then individual farmers. So it is on first position, it is on second, it is on third position. What does that mean? That means highest applications were from PACS, then from agricultural entrepreneurs, and then from individual farmers. This Agri Infrastructure Fund has been set up by the government to provide the financial support for the agriculture sector for infrastructure. Now under this scheme, 1 lakh crore rupees will be provided by the banks and financial institutions as the loan for the development of infrastructure in the agriculture sector. Now please note that this loan will have interest subvention. Interest subvention means discount. So it will have interest subvention of 3% per annum. Now suppose in simplest term, you are taking loan from a bank normally. So if in that case the interest rate is 6%, in this case it is going to be 3% only. The idea is to encourage people to borrow so that that money can be used in infrastructure development in the field of agriculture. Which bank has launched digital platform merchant stack to provide banking services to the retail merchants? So this has been launched by ICICI Bank. It has launched this merchant stack to provide banking services to the retail merchants. The main feature of this initiative includes instant credit facilities, zero balance current account, and digital store management services to these retail merchants. Now please note that ICICI, SDFC and SBI, these three banks are given the status of DSIB. DSIB stands for Domestic Systemically Important Bank. This status is given by Reserve Bank of India. Recently, RBI was in news as Mr. T. Ravi Shankar has been appointed as the next Deputy Governor of RBI. So in RBI, there are 4 Deputy Governors. Present RBI Governor is Mr. Shaktikant Das. So Mr. T. Ravi Shankar succeeded Mr. B.P. Kanungo. He retired recently. RBI was also in news as recently it joined NGFS. NGFS is Network for Greening the Financial Systems. Apart from the appointment of Mr. T. Ravi Shankar, recently one more appointment was in news, and recently Mr. Sanjay Kumar Mohanty has been appointed as the member of Railway Board. Now in the context of banking, recently few other initiatives were in news. First is Immune India Deposit Scheme. So in order to promote vaccination and in order to encourage people to vaccinate, recently Central Bank of India launched this Immune India Deposit Scheme. As per this scheme, they are going to provide more or additional interest to the people, those who are vaccinated. So idea is to encourage people to vaccinate. Now in the context of COVID-19, recently one more initiative was in news. It is Oxygen on Wheels. So this is an initiative by Mahindra Group. Recently, the chairperson of Mahindra Group, Mr. Anand Mahindra, launched this initiative, Oxygen on Wheels, to ensure the transportation of oxygen from plants to the hospitals and homes. Apart from that, recently, to ensure experimental delivery of vaccines by drones, recently, Telangana government got approval from Civil Aviation Ministry. That means, government is going to use drones to provide vaccines to the hinterland areas, and for this recently it got approval from the Civil Aviation Ministry. So we covered Oxygen on Wheels initiative, we covered Vaccines through Drones initiative, and we covered Immune India Deposit Scheme. Next question is, which Indian state government is to launch a cleanliness drive named CLAP? So it has been launched by Andhra Pradesh. CLAP stands for Clean Andhra Pradesh. So idea is to ensure sanitation. Now at central level we have a scheme Clean India, and this scheme has 2 components. One is urban component and second is a rural component. This scheme was launched in 2014. This urban component is managed by Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. Rural component is managed by Ministry of Jal Shakti. Recently, Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs was in news as it launched a scheme of loan for street vendors. Answer in comment box what is the name of that particular scheme. Next question is, Chota Char Dham, a famous Hindu pilgrimage circuit, is located in which state? So it is located in Uttarakhand, and this circuit consists of 4 locations. These 4 locations are Yamunotri, Kedarnath, Gangotri and Badrinath. So recently Uttarakhand government has suspended this Char Dham Yatra in the backdrop of COVID-19. That is why it was in news. Next question is, what is Patania 2nd, which was in news recently for being stranded on the Pacific Ocean floor? So it is a mining robot. Name is Patania 2nd. So it is a seabed mining robot which was being tested on the floor of Pacific Ocean, and it is being tested by GSR. What is GSR? It is a deep sea exploration company and it is a part of DEME group. So what is the objective of this mining robot? Objective was to collect the nodules which are rich in cobalt and other metals which are found on the seabed. In simplest term, on the seabed of ocean, different materials and minerals are found. Now with the help of this particular robot, we are trying to explore them, or we are trying to extract them. We means this particular company GSR. So this was being tested on Pacific Ocean floor, and now it is being stranded. That's why it was in news. So these are the major oceans of world. This is Pacific Ocean, this is Atlantic Ocean, this is Arctic Ocean, this is Indian Ocean, and this is Southern Ocean. Next question is, which top contributor of UNFPA recently announced to cut 85% of the aid funding pledged to UNFPA? So this has been announced by UK, that is United Kingdom. It has decided to cut 85% of its funding which it pledged to the United Nations Population Fund. Now please note that this UNFPA is the nodal authority of United Nations for the sexual and reproductive health, and it was established in 1969. Recently it was in news because of a report, and report is My Body is My Own. Now recently UK was also in news as it is going to be the host of COP26. COP stands for Conference of Parties. It is Conference of United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. This UNFCCC is a result of Rio Summit or Rio Declaration of 1992. Recently UK was also in news as it became the first country to allow driverless cars on road. UK was also in news as recently it announced that it is exploring the possibility of a new digital currency, Bitcoin. Next question is, which institution has unveiled a collaborative project titled Sustainable Livelihood for Tribal Households in India? So this has been announced by TRIFAD. What is TRIFAD? It is Tribal Cooperative Marketing Federation of India. This TRIFAD is under MOTA. What is MOTA? It is Ministry of Tribal Affairs. So for this particular sustainable livelihood for tribal households in India, TRIFAD has collaborated with the Link Fund. So this Link Fund is a foundation which works in the field of poverty eradication and in the field of mitigating the effects of climate change. So recently TRIFAD collaborated with this Link Fund for the sustainable livelihood for tribal households. TRIFAD is under MOTA, Ministry of Tribal Affairs. Recently TRIFAD was also in news because of Sankalp Se Siddhi initiative. Answer in comment box what is the objective of the Sankalp Se Siddhi initiative by TRIFAD. Apart from that, for tribals, recently Ministry of Health and Family Welfare in collaboration with MOTA launched Anamay. So it is an initiative to improve the health and nutritional status of tribal communities. Next question is, Order of Rising Sun, Gold and Silver Rays is honor conferred by which country? So it is conferred by Japan. Please note that this is Order of Rising Sun, Gold and Silver Rays. So this was conferred to a Bengaluru based teacher, Shamala Ganesh, for the contribution in the promotion of Japanese language. Actually this award is given to those who have played a key role in promotion of Japanese culture. Apart from that, recently one more award related to Japan was in news. It is Rising Sun, Gold and Silver Star. This one is Star, this one is Rays. So this Star Award is given to former Principal Secretary of Prime Minister Modi, and he is Mr. Nripendra Mishra. So he was given this award for his work in the field of improvement of ties between India and Japan. Next question is, what is the tenure of loans provided by the central government to the states under the Scheme of Financial Assistance to the States for CAPEX? Now first thing first, what is CAPEX? It is capital expenditure. So there are two types of expenditure. One is revenue expenditure, one is capital expenditure. If money is being spent for any asset, then it is capital expenditure. Revenue expenditure are ongoing operating expenses. For example, you have money and you want to build a school. So the money which you used in order to build the school, it is capital expenditure. Later, the money which you are using to operate that school, that money will be revenue expenditure. So recently, to promote capital expenditure, this particular scheme was in news. As per this scheme, central government is going to provide loan to the states, and this will be interest-free loan, and this will be for 50 years interest-free loan. And the Finance Ministry has decided to provide an additional amount of up to rupee 15,000 crore. So that is why it was in news. Now, out of this 15,000 crore, 2,600 is specifically allocated for Part 1 states. Part 1 states are the states of Northeast and the states in hilly areas. Then Part 3 is allocated for the state public sector enterprises, that is SPSC. So here allocation is 5,000 crore. So this money has been allocated for the monetization and recycling of the assets and disinvestment of state public sector enterprises. The remaining money, that is 7,400 crore rupees, is for the states which are not mentioned in the part 1. So this is category 2. So here remaining states will be covered. Here only states of northeast and hilly areas will be covered. Third is for state public sector enterprises. Now in the context of CapEx, that is capital expenditure, recently government released data, and as per that data, the combined capital expenditure of 37 large public sector enterprises is 4.6 lakh crore. And in this, maximum capital expenditure was done by NHAI, that is National Highway Authority of India. It is under Ministry of Road Transport and Highways. What is MACS 1407? So it is a variety of soybean. So why it was in news? Recently, scientists of Agarkar Research Institute and ICAR, that is Indian Council of Agricultural Research, have developed a new variety of soybean. This variety is special because it is high yield variety. That means the production will be higher if this variety is used. Second thing is that it is pest resistant. Now please note that this ARI, that is Agarkar Research Institute, is in Pune. Pune is in Maharashtra. Recently one more institute from Pune was in news, and it is SII, that is Serum Institute of India. So this is also situated in Pune. ICAR is Indian Council for Agricultural Research. So it is under Ministry of Agriculture. The Minister of Agriculture acts as a president of ICAR. The headquarters of ICAR is in New Delhi. Presently, the Director General of ICAR is Trilochan Mohpatra. Recently, one more Mohpatra was in news, and he is Dr. Mrityunjay Mohpatra. He is the Director General of IMD. What is IMD? It is India Meteorological Department, and this IMD is under MOES, that is Ministry of Earth Sciences. Presently, Dr. Harshvardhan is the Minister for this. Next question is, World Tuna Day was observed on the 2nd of May. Which SDG, that is Sustainable Development Goal, calls for the sustainable use of oceans and marine resources? So this is SDG number 14. SDG stands for Sustainable Development Goals. So SDG 14 aims to conserve the marine resources. Now apart from 2nd of May, 4th of May was observed as World Asthma Day. Theme was Uncovering Asthma Misconceptions. 4th of May was also observed as Coal Miners Day. Apart from that, 4th of May was also observed as International Firefighters Day. Now coming back to Sustainable Development Goals. So there are total 17 Sustainable Development Goals. In this question we discussed about SDG number 14, that is Life Below Water, or Sustainable Use of Marine Resources. Now please note that the target for Sustainable Development Goals is 2030. Total 17 Sustainable Development Goals are there and 169 targets are there. Next question is, what is the name given to the privately pooled investment fund in a form of a trust or a company or LLP? LLP stands for Limited Liability Partnership. So it is AIF, that is Alternate Investment Fund. As per Sebi, that is Security Exchange Board of India, AIF, that is Alternative Investment Fund, means any private pooled investment fund which collect money from different investors, be it Indian investor or foreigner investor, for investing as per a predefined investment policy. What does that mean? Any fund which is collecting money from its investor may be Indian or investor may be foreigner, for investing as per a predefined policy of investment for the benefit. Such fund is in the category of AIF, that is Alternative Investment Fund. Now in this context there is one more event. Recently EPFO, that is Employment Provident Fund Organization, was in news in the context of AIF, as recently, please note that this EPFO is under Union Labour Ministry. So recently the ministry permitted EPFO to invest up to 5% of its surplus in such AIF with support infrastructure, MSME and other such areas. So in simplest term, what is the concept of AIF? It is a fund. People are going to invest money in this fund, and then this money will be further invested in some infrastructure project or in some MSME. Now, EPFO can invest up to 5% of its surplus fund in such AIF. This was recently allowed by Labour Ministry. Why Labour Ministry? Because EPFO is under the administrative control of Labour Ministry. Next question is, Crimson Solar Project is a mega solar project to be set up in which country? So it is going to be set up in USA and it is going to be in California desert. Now USA was also in news because of USTR report. What is USTR? It is United States Trade Representative. So USTR published a report and it is Special 301 report. So this report is related to trade and this is published by USTR. So this report focuses on the effectiveness of IPR regime in different countries. What is IPR? It is intellectual property rights. In simplest term, this report tried to identify the trade barriers for the companies of United States in terms of intellectual property laws in different countries. So recently this report was in news and as per this report, India is in priority watch list for the intellectual property rights and their enforcements. That means India as a nation is not that much effective for the protection of intellectual property rights as per this report. Again, through this report, USA will try to focus on its own interest. So it is just one side of the story. Now coming back to the California. So this is the geographical location of California. This is Pacific Ocean. This is Atlantic Ocean. This is Strait of Gibraltar. This is Mediterranean Sea. Answer in comment box. What is the name of this gulf? Next question is DRC, that is the Democratic Republic of Congo, has declared the end of outbreak of which disease? So it has declared the end of Ebola. This disease is caused by Ebola virus. Recently, DRC, that is Democratic Republic of Congo, has declared the end of Ebola outbreak in the country. And this was ended with the help of a vaccine, MRK.N. Now coming back to the geographical location of DRC, that is Democratic Republic of Congo. So this is a Central African country. On this side, this is Atlantic Ocean. This is Gulf of Guinea. This is Indian Ocean. This is Madagascar. This is Gulf of Aden, Red Sea, and this is Horn of Africa. Answer in comment box, how many countries are there in Horn of Africa? Next question is, Turkey has brought which type of firms into the ambit of anti-money laundering and terror financing regulation? So recently, Turkey brought cryptocurrency trading firms into the ambit of, that means within the scope of this anti-money laundering and terror financing regulation. Please note that Turkey had already banned cryptocurrency trading. Now, in the context of money laundering and terror financing, we have one institution. It is FATF, that is Financial Action Task Force. It is an initiative of G7 group and the headquarters of FATF is in OECD Secretariat. It is in Paris in France. Now coming back to Turkey. So recently Turkey was also in news as it decided to quit 2011 Istanbul Convention. Answer in comment box, what is the objective of this Istanbul Convention of 2011? Now coming back to the geographical location of Turkey. So this is Turkey. This is Black Sea, Mediterranean Sea. This is Caspian Sea. This is Central Asia. So countries are Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Turkmenistan, Tajikistan and Kyrgyzstan. Please note that except Turkmenistan, these four countries, that is Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Tajikistan and Kyrgyzstan, these are the part of SCO, that is Shanghai Cooperation Organization. Apart from these four countries, Russia, China, India and Pakistan are the members of SCO. Answer in comment box, what is the name of the strait which is situated here? Next question is, what is Dhuru Mk 3rd MR? So it is ALH, that is Advanced Light Helicopter, and it has been developed by HAL. What is HAL? It is Hindustan Aeronautics Limited. It is a defense PSU. PSU stands for Public Sector Undertaking and it is under MOD, that is Ministry of Defense. Headquarters is in Bengaluru. This helicopter has been tested and now it is to be used by ICG. What is ICG? Indian Coast Guard. Indian Coast Guard are under the administrative control of MOD, that is Defense Ministry. Now please note that for defense procurement we have Defense Acquisition Council, DAC. This Defense Acquisition Council is headed by Defense Minister. Next question is, what is the new rate of IGST, that is Integrated Goods and Service Tax, applicable to the import of oxygen concentrators for personal use? So previously this limit was 28%. Now it has been reduced to 12%. Please note that this is applicable to the import. Import means when we are purchasing some product from some other country. Export means when we are sending some product from India to some other country. So this will be applicable to the import of oxygen concentrators for personal use. Now please note that GST is indirect tax. It is destination based tax. Recently, GST gross revenue collection was also in news, as in April 2021, the GST gross collection was 1.41 lakh crore. So this is a record high. Now we have GST Council. This GST Council is headed by FM, that is Finance Minister. So we have different type of GST. One is CGST, that is Central GST. Second is SGST, that is States GST. And third is IGST, that is Integrated Goods and Service Tax. So these two are applicable in case of intrastate movement. Intrastate means within a particular state. Suppose this is Rajasthan. So within Rajasthan, if the movement is there, then it is intrastate. IGST is applicable in case of interstate. Inter means between two. So suppose if there is a movement between Haryana and Rajasthan, then it is an example of interstate movement. Next question is Article 164 of Indian Constitution deals with. So actually this article was in news because of recent elections. Recently elections held in the state of West Bengal. Mamata Banerjee was the candidate from TMC party. Her party won the majority, but there is a problem. She contested election from a seat named Nandigram. Her opponent was Shivendu Adhikari. He was candidate from BJP. So her party won the majority, but she lost the elections. That means she could not win her own seat. Now there were different arguments that would she be able to be. Now there were different arguments that how she is going to be chief minister if she did not win her seat. So here comes the role of Article 164. Actually two articles are important. One is Article 164 and at central level Article 75. Both serve the same purpose. This is for states and this is for central level. In simplest term, anyone can be the minister including chief minister, or anyone can be the minister in the central government including prime minister, even if they are not a member of house. Condition is that if they become member in the upcoming 6 months. Condition is same in both cases. Here I have oversimplified it. In simplest term, you did not contest election or you did not win the election. Even then you can be a minister provided that in the upcoming 6 months you win your seat in that house. So how she is going to secure a seat in house? Here comes the role of bipolls. What is bipole? Now suppose there are 50 seats in your state. Again it is just oversimplification. 50 seat, so you won say 35, opposition party won 15. Now out of these 35 seats which you have won, you can ask any member to resign. Now if a member is going to resign, election commission will conduct the re-elections. This is bipoll. Bipoll means to conduct elections again. So you will tell one member from your party that you should resign so that I can contest election and I can be the member of house and I can continue as chief minister, prime minister, whatever be the circumstances. So in this case, she is going to ask any member from her party to resign. So that seat will be vacant and election commission will conduct elections. Which organization has released the Global Forest Goals Report 2021? So this has been released by United Nations ECOSOC, that is Department of Economics and Social Affairs. So this report provides an overview of our progress towards achieving 6 global forest goals. And the target is to achieve these goals by 2030. Actually, these are mentioned in the United Nations Strategic Plan for Forest 2030. Now, what are these 6 forest goals? So these goals are reverse forest cover loss, improve forest benefit and livelihood, protect forest and use sustainable forest products, mobilize resources. 5th one is promote inclusive forest governance, and 6th is cooperate and work across sectors. Now, in the context of forest, please note that FAO also released Global Forest Resources Assessment Report. FAO is Food and Agriculture Organization. It is an organization of United Nations. The headquarters of FAO is in Rome. Rome is in Italy. Apart from that, in our country, there is one more forest report. It is India State of Forest Report. And this report is released by FSI, that is Forest Survey of India. FSI is under Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, and the headquarters of FSI is in Dehradun. It was established in 1981. It is responsible for the conducting forest survey in our country. Apart from that, every year 21st of March is observed as International Day of Forest. Next question is, the SDRF contribution is released in 2 equal installments to the states as per the recommendations of. So first thing first, what is SDRF? SDRF is State Disaster Response Fund. It is a State Disaster Response Fund, and the 2 installments are released by the central government for the states. These are released as per the recommendations of Finance Commission. Usually, the first installment is released in the month of June. However, this time because of this pandemic situation, this amount has been released early. That's why it was in news. Now please note that SDRF has been constituted as per the provisions of DM Act of 2005. What is DM? It is Disaster Management Act. So for disaster management, the nodal authority in our country is MHA, that is Ministry of Home Affairs. This Disaster Management Act provides the statutory basis to this State Disaster Response Fund. Please note that this fund is audited by CAG, that is Comptroller and Auditor General of India. It is a constitutional position, and the provisions for this post are mentioned in Article 148 of Indian Constitution. Finance Commission is also a constitutional authority, and it is constituted as per the provisions of Article 280. It is constituted by the President of India. The first Finance Commission was constituted in 1951, and the most recent Finance Commission is 15th Finance Commission, which was constituted in 2017. Chairperson is N.K. Singh for this 15th Finance Commission. Answer in comment box, who was the chairperson of first Finance Commission of India? Now, please note that in this SDRF, that is State Disaster Response Fund, the contribution is provided by the central government. So, central contribute up to 90% in case of special category states and up to 75% in case of other states. Special category states are those states which are facing special problems. For example, the states of Northeast and hilly area states. For general category states, central government contribute 75% and remaining is contributed by the state government. Next question is, Lithani River and Karan Lake, which were in news recently, are located in which country? So these two are located in Lebanon, and this Lithani River is an important water resource in Lebanon. It rises in Bakka Valley and it gets into Mediterranean Sea. Now recently it was in news because of increased pollution level in the river, and that is why recently tons of dead fish were recovered on the banks of this Karan Lake on Lithani River of Lebanon. Now let's have a look at the geography of Lebanon. So this is the Mediterranean Sea, this is Lebanon, and this is the geographical location of this particular lake. So this is Lebanon, this is Mediterranean Sea, this is Syria, Israel, this is Egypt, Red Sea, Gulf of Aden, Persian Gulf, Black Sea, Caspian Sea, this is Mediterranean Sea, this is Strait of Gibraltar, this is Atlantic Ocean, this is Indian Ocean, and this is Arabian Sea. Next question is, as per the recent guidelines by Sebi, what percentage of salary of the top executives to be paid in mutual fund units? First thing first, this circular is for the key employees of AMC. What is AMC? It is Asset Management Company. So now Sebi had said that 20% of the salary of key employees of AMC should be paid in mutual funds. What is mutual fund? See, suppose you want to invest in market. You do not know how to invest it. So mutual fund is a group of, mutual funds are managed by professionals. You provide your money to these people and then they invest it based on their expertise. Mutual is collective. So it is a collective fund of people and it is managed by professionals. Now, as per recent circular by Sebi, 20% of the salary of key employees of asset management companies should be paid in mutual fund units. In this context, a concept is important, and it is concept of ESOP, that is Employees Stock Ownership Plan. Please read about it. Now coming back to Sebi, it is Securities and Exchange Board of India. Present Sebi chairperson is Mr. Ajay Tyagi. The headquarters of Sebi is in Mumbai in Maharashtra, and it is under the jurisdiction of Ministry of Finance. Sebi was given statutory powers in 1992 through Sebi Act of 1992. Please note that this circular related to this 20% salary will be effective from 1st of July in 2021. Next question is, which space agency's Mars mission is to explore aerial scouting for better exploration? So this will be done by Ingenuity helicopter of NASA. NASA is the space agency of USA. Ingenuity helicopter is for Mars. Mars is also known as Red Planet. So this is going to ensure aerial survey for better exploration. Recently, Ingenuity was also in news because it became the first aircraft to take powered flight on the surface of Mars. Recently, NASA was also in news because of MOXIE. Answer in comment box why MOXIE was in news. Apart from this Mars mission of USA, recently one more rover was in news for Mars, and it is Zhurong. So this is the name of rover by China for Mars. China's Mars mission is named as Tianwen-1. On the other hand, the Mars mission of UAE is Hope Probe. Recently, Russia was also in news as Russia has announced that they are going to build their own space station. Next question is, what is the limit of FDI, that is foreign direct investment, permitted in the road and highway sector? So it is 100%. Recently, Road Transport Minister announced the target of road construction worth 15 lakh crore in next 2 years. Apart from that, the ministry also intends to achieve the target of 40 km road per day. This is about highway construction. So 40 km of highway per day. This is the target for current year. Next question is, which institution approves the emergency use of vaccines around the world using EUL, that is emergency use listing? So this is done by WHO. WHO is World Health Organization. Now, in order to ensure equitable access to the vaccines, there is an alliance. It is COVAX Alliance. Idea is to provide vaccines to all countries. So in this alliance, there are 3 major partners. One is WHO, second is CEPI, that is Coalition for Epidemic Preparedness Innovations, and third is Gavi, that is Global Vaccine Alliance. Now recently, WHO was also in news because it has given the approval for emergency use of COVID-19 vaccine by Moderna under this EUL mechanism. WHO was also in news because recently on 5th of May, WHO observed World Hand Hygiene Day, and the theme was Seconds Save Lives. Clean your hands. 5th of May was also observed as International Day of Midwife, and the theme was Follow the Data. Invest in midwives. Next question is, as per OECD, which country stood as the top destination for foreign direct investment in 2020? So first thing first, what is OECD? It is Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. So recently, OECD reported that FDI has dropped by 38% as compared to previous years. So there is a downfall in FDI, obviously because of coronavirus. And as per latest data, China is the top recipient of FDI and it has replaced USA. So USA is now on 2nd position while India is on 3rd position. The headquarters of OECD is in Paris in France. OECD conduct PISA. PISA stands for Program for International Student Assessment. Now please note that the headquarters of FATF is also in OECD. That means the secretariat of FATF is located at OECD headquarters. FATF is Financial Action Task Force. It is an initiative by G7 countries and it was started in 1989. Initially, its objective was to combat money laundering. Later, after 9/11 attack on USA, the objective was expanded to include and to prevent terror financing. FATF stands for Financial Action Task Force. Next question is, MPLADS program is administered by which ministry? So MPLADS stands for Member of Parliament Local Area Development Fund, and it is a initiative of MOSPI, that is Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation. Now please note that this fund is non-lapsable fund. Non-lapsable fund means, suppose for this year 5 lakh rupees were allocated and because of certain reasons 2 lakhs are unspent. So if the fund is non-lapsable, that means these 2 lakh rupees can be used in upcoming time. If fund is lapsable, then this money will not be used in upcoming time and it will be sent back. So this is the difference. So MPLADS is a non-lapsable fund. Now please note that Government of India has permitted the use of MPLADS fund for setting up of oxygen manufacturing units in the government hospitals. Now, it is important to note that government had already announced that because of this pandemic situation, no new fund would be provided under the scheme. So this money, which is to be used for oxygen manufacturing units, this is already allocated money. Under this MPLADS scheme, the Member of Parliament gets 5 crore rupees per annum for the development works in their constituency. Significant economic presence principle is a concept used to levy which category of tax? So it is related to digital tax, and this principle was introduced Finance Bill of 2018-19. Now please note that recently India notified threshold limits for non-resident tech companies. For example, Netflix, Facebook, Google, all these are non-resident technology companies. Now they will have to pay tax according to these threshold limits. So what are these limits? There is a limit of transaction and it is 2 crore rupees. And then there is a user limit. So this is monetary limit and this is user limit. That means if you have users more than 3 lakh, then you will be covered and you will have to pay tax as per these recent guidelines. In this context, this concept of significant economic presence was in use. That means you have significant economic presence in our country and therefore you are liable to pay tax in our country. And these guidelines will come in effect from 1st of April of 2022. Next question is, India announced 1.4 billion USD of private sector trade and investment with which country? So this country is UK. Recently there was a virtual summit between Prime Minister of UK and Prime Minister of India. And during that summit it was announced. So as a part of this summit, India and UK unveiled 10-year roadmap for bilateral trade. Please note that the current bilateral trade between India and UK is approximately 23 billion pounds. And now both countries decided to make it more than double by 2030. So the target is to make the bilateral trade between India and UK as double by 2030. Apart from that, India and UK announced 1 billion pounds or 1.4 billion USD of private sector trade and investment. UK was also in news as it is the host of COP26. COP stands for Conference of Parties. So it is related to United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. This UNFCCC is a result of Rio Summit of 1992. Apart from that, UK was also in news as recently it announced its intention to join CPTPP. UK was also in news as recently it became first country to announce regulation for the use of self-driving cars. Apart from that, UK was also in news as it is planning a new digital currency named as Bitcoin. What is CPTPP? It is Comprehensive and Progressive Trans-Pacific Partnership. Apart from that, India and UK agreed to launch GIP. What is GIP? It is Global Innovation Partnership. So this initiative is going to support Indian innovators. Next question is, Nehru Zoological Park, where Asiatic lions were tested COVID positive, is situated in which state or union territory? So this zoological park is situated in Hyderabad. So the correct answer is Telangana. Now, recently it was in news because the first case of COVID in lion was detected. Now please note that recently Russia was in news as it has developed world's first vaccine, that is COVID vaccine for animals. And the name of this vaccine is Carnivac-Co. Recently Russia was also in news as India and Russia decided to have 2+2 level dialogue. So Russia is going to be the first country outside Quad with which India will have this 2+2 dialogue. 2+2 means 2 ministers from our side and 2 ministers from their side. Which 2 ministers? One is a defense minister and second is Minister of External Affairs. So Russia is going to be the first Quad country with which India will have this 2+2 level mechanism. Quad countries are India, Australia, Japan and USA. So with these three we have 2+2 level dialogue. Now Russia is going to be fourth such country. Russia was also in news because of S-400 missile defense system. It was also in news as recently India approved Sputnik V vaccine from Russia. Next question is, a white tooth shrew species has been discovered for the first time in a volcanic island and the island is Narcondam Island. it is situated in which state or union territory. So for the first time, this shrew species has been discovered in this Narcondam Island. The question is, this island is situated in the territory of which state or union territory? So correct answer is Andaman and Nicobar Islands. This is the species which was discovered for the first time, and it was discovered from Narcondam Island. This Narcondam Island is a part of Andaman and Nicobar Islands. So this is the geographical location of this island. This is Andaman and Nicobar Islands. To be specific, it is a part of Andaman Islands. This is Andaman Sea, this is Bay of Bengal, Lakshadweep Sea, this is Sri Lanka, this is our country, this is Arabian Sea, Persian Gulf, Gulf of Aden, this is Java Sea, South China Sea, this is Philippines Sea and East China Sea. Answer in comment box what is the name of this particular strait. Next question is, which steel company has entered into the list of top 100 most valuable or most valued company in terms of market capitalization? So this is SAIL. What is SAIL? It is Steel Authority of India Limited. So with the market capitalization of 50,000 crores, it has entered in the league of top 100 most valuable companies in terms of market capitalization. Now please note that the current chairperson of SAIL is Ms. Soma Mondal. The headquarters of SAIL is in New Delhi. SAIL is under the administrative control of Ministry of Steel and it was founded in 1954. Recently, Ms. Mondal was also in news as she has been appointed as the new chairperson of SCOPE. What is SCOPE? It is Standing Conference of Public Enterprise. So she has been appointed as the chairperson of SCOPE for the period of 2 years. Next question is, which body permits telecommunication companies to conduct trials for 5G technology in our country? So in this context, DOT, that is Department of Telecommunications, is the nodal authority to permit telecommunication companies like Airtel, Jio to conduct trials for 5G technology. Now this DOT is under Ministry of Communications. Now in the context of telecom companies, recently a term was in use, AGR. Answer in comment box what is the full form of AGR. Next question is, the first supply of UCO based biodiesel blended diesel was flagged off recently. The question is, what is UCO? So UCO stands for used cooking oil. Now what is this entire issue? See, this is used cooking oil. This used cooking oil is utilized for making biodiesel, and then this biodiesel is blended with diesel. Recently, first supply of such diesel which was blended with biodiesel, and the biodiesel was made up from the used cooking oil. So first supply of such diesel was flagged off from IOC's terminal in Delhi. Here are three components. First is used cooking oil. So this used cooking oil was utilized for making biodiesel, and then this biodiesel was blended with diesel, and the first supply of such diesel was flagged off recently by the Petroleum Minister Mr. Dharmendra Pradhan from the IOC terminal from New Delhi. What is IOC? It is Indian Oil Corporation. Next question is, GINA, a WHO collaborative organization, is associated with which disease? So it is associated to asthma. GINA stands for Global Initiative for Asthma. Now please note that for this year only, World Asthma Day will be celebrated on Wednesday. Actually, every year World Asthma Day is celebrated on the first Tuesday in May, which was supposed to be on 4th of May. However, this time, that means 2021, is an exception, and for this year only, this was celebrated on Wednesday, that means on 5th of May. That's why there is a confusion. From next year onwards, it will be on the first Tuesday in May. So you can see that upcoming World Asthma Days are going to be on 3rd of May because it is the first Tuesday. In 2023, it is going to be on 2nd of May because it is the first Tuesday, and so on. The first World Asthma Day was celebrated in 1998, and it was a result of first World Asthma meeting, and that meeting held in Barcelona in Spain. Recently, Spain was in news because of COP25. COP25 stands for Conference of Parties number 25, and this event held in Spain under the presidency of Chile government. Now, as a result of this Conference of Parties, a term was in use, Santiago Action Network. Answer in comment box what is the objective of this initiative. The theme for this year's World Asthma Day is uncovering asthma misconceptions. So, Asthma Day was on 4th of May. Apart from that, Coal Miners Day was also observed on 4th of May. In addition to that, International Firefighters Day was also celebrated on 4th of May. On the other hand, 6th of May was observed as International No Diet Day. And the symbol for this day is light blue ribbon. Next question is, Satyajit Ray, a legendary filmmaker, was from which state? So he was from West Bengal. Why he was in news recently? Because this time we completed 100 years of his birth. He took birth in 1921, to be specific on 2nd of May. That's why INB Ministry, that is Information and Broadcasting Ministry, decided to celebrate this entire year as year-long birth centenary celebrations across India and abroad. Please note that he was legendary filmmaker and his first film was Pather Panchali. Apart from that, on the occasion of 100 years of his birth, IFFI, that is International Film Festival of India, announced a Lifetime Achievement Award in the field of cinema, and this award is named after Satyajit Ray. So this new award has been started on the occasion of 100 years of his birth anniversary, and now this will be given every year. This will be given for the excellence in the field of cinema. Next question is, which organization has released the report Estimates of Global E-Commerce? So this has been released by UNCTAD. UNCTAD stands for United Nations Conference on Trade and Development. Headquarters of this organization is in Geneva. Geneva is in Switzerland. As per this report, USA is on top position in terms of e-commerce, and USA is followed by Japan and China. Recently, UNCTAD was also in news as it released World Investment Report. It also published Trade and Development Report. So these are the most important questions. Now we are going to cover important news events. So first is TV Somanathan. So recently, TV Somanathan has been appointed as the new Finance Secretary. Next is Global Forest Goals Report 2021. So this has been released by UNDESA. What is UNDESA? It is United Nations Department of Economic and Social Affairs. Now in terms of appointment, one more name was in news. It is Amitabh Chaudhry. So he has been reappointed as the MD and CEO of Axis Bank. Next is Building Back Better. So recently, G7 countries organized a summit, and India also participated in this summit as a guest. So from our side, our Minister of Electronics and Information Technology, Mr. Ravi Shankar Prasad, participated in this event, and the theme was Building Back Better. G7 is a group of 7 countries. Answer in comment box whether China is a part of G7 group or not. Next is International Workers' Day. So it was observed on 1st of May. It is also observed as May Day, and it is observed in the commemoration of Haymarket Affair. Answer in comment box, this Haymarket is associated to which country? Next is Defender Europe 21. So this is the name of exercise which was organized by NATO. NATO is North Atlantic Treaty Organization. So it has launched this joint military exercise Defender Europe, and this was launched in Albania. Next is Time 100 Most Influential Companies. So 2 Indian companies are specified in this. One is Geo Platforms and second is Baiju. Apart from that, recently one more company was in news. It is LIC, that is Life Insurance Corporation. So recently, Brand Finance Insurance Top 100 Companies report was released. As per that report, LIC is the 3rd strongest and 10th most valuable insurance brand globally. So 10th most valuable insurance brand globally. Next is world's longest pedestrian suspension bridge. So this bridge is in Portugal, and it is above the river Paiva. Next is Operation Samudra Setu 2nd. So recently this was launched by Indian Navy for the shipment of oxygen-filled containers. Next is Neeraj Bajaj. So recently he was named as the chairperson of Bajaj Auto. Apart from him, recently Vanita Gupta was appointed as Associate Attorney General of USA. Vanita Gupta is Indo-American, and it is first time that an Indo-American has been appointed as the Associate Attorney General of USA. Now recently, former Attorney General of India was also in news, and he is Mr. Soli Sorabji. He passed away recently. Apart from him, TV journalist Rohit Sardana also passed away. Next is Swas and Arog. So these are the loan schemes launched for MSME and these are launched by SIDBI. SIDBI stands for Small Industries Development Bank of India. So these loan schemes are launched for MSME sector. SWAS stands for SIDBI Assistance to Healthcare Sector in War Against COVID-19. See, just remember this H. So this is for healthcare sector. Second is AROG. So this is SIDBI Assistance to MSME for recovery and organic growth. Next is Vaishali Hivase. So recently she became the first woman to be appointed as the officer commanding in BRO. What is BRO? It is Border Roads Organization. So she is the first woman officer to be appointed as the officer commanding in BRO, and she is from Maharashtra. Next is Restore Fund. So this has been launched by Apple, and it is a first of its kind fund. It is worth $200 million, and this fund has been launched to remove carbon from the atmosphere. And for this fund, Apple has collaborated with Conservation International. Next is Global Electric Vehicle Outlook 2021. So this has been released by International Energy Agency. EV stands for electric vehicles. So as for this annual report, electric vehicles will be more than 30% of the new vehicles in our country by 2030. World Press Freedom Day. It was on 3rd of May, and the theme was Information as Public Good. And the 2021 Global Conference or 2021 event is organized by UNESCO in association with Government of Namibia. It is an African country. So theme of World Press Freedom Day was Information as Public Good. The 2021 event was organized by UNESCO in association with Namibia. On the other hand, 2nd of May was observed as World Tuna Day. Tuna is a fish. Apart from that, 2nd of May was also celebrated as World Laughter Day. Actually, this World Laughter Day is celebrated on the first Sunday of May, but this time it was on this World Laughter Day is celebrated on the first Sunday of May, and this time it was on 2nd of May. That's why. Next is first green solar energy harnessing plant of Indian Army. So this is going to be in North Sikkim. This is first of its kind plant by Indian Army, and it is going to be of 56 kVA, that is kilowatt ampere. It is going to use the vanadium based battery system, and for this Indian Army has collaborated with IIT Mumbai. Now recently vanadium was in news as GSI, that is Geological Survey of India, announced that Arunachal Pradesh could be the India's prime producer for vanadium. Now answer in comment box, GSI is under which union ministry? Next is the unicorn. So the name of our galaxy is Milky Way, and in this Milky Way galaxy, the smallest black hole was recently discovered, and the name of the smallest black hole in this Milky Way is the unicorn. Next is Portuguese Grand Prix. So recently Lewis Hamilton won this Portuguese Grand Prix. Next is Wipro. So recently Wipro was in news as it surpassed HCL, and it became the 3rd most valuable Indian IT company. IT is information technology. Which is the most valuable company? It is TCS. Next is Chandro Tomar. So she was well-known shooter. She passed away recently. She was from Uttar Pradesh. Popularly, she was known as Shooter Dadi. Next is P-8I patrol aircraft. So recently, USA approved the sale of these aircrafts to India, and these will be used by Indian Navy. Now please note that in our country for defense procurement we have Defense Acquisition Council, and this council is headed by Defense Minister. These aircrafts are produced by Boeing, and Boeing is an American aerospace company. Next is Pitola Nach. So first thing first, it is a string puppetry, and it is related to the state of Assam. Last is cryptocurrency rewards credit card. So recently MasterCard collaborated with Gemini and Web Bank to launch first of its kind cryptocurrency rewards credit card, the world's largest aeroplane. The name is ROC. Recently it was in news because it has successfully conducted test flight. It has been built by Stratolaunch. It is a US based aerospace company. Next is Thisara Pereira. So recently he was in news as he announced his retirement. He is a cricketer from Sri Lanka. Next is Vaccine Finder tool. So Facebook has announced that it is going to introduce Vaccine Finder tool on its mobile applications in India. Next is Parul Debidas. So she was the first female IAS officer from Assam. Recently she was in news because she passed away. She was first female IAS officer from Assam and she was in news because she passed away recently. Next is Believe in Sport campaign. So it is a campaign by International Olympic Committee. Objective is to prevent any kind of manipulations in the sports. Now recently this campaign of IOC was in news because Badminton World Federation announced that PV Sindhu from India and Michelle Lee from Canada are the nominated athlete ambassadors for this campaign. So these two sports personalities were nominated by Badminton World Federation for this Believe in Sport campaign. Next is Another Dozen Stories. So this is a book by filmmaker Satyajit Ray. Now this book was in news because it is being translated from Bengali to English. And this is translated by Indrani Mazumdar. Next is Mr. Jagmohan Malhotra. So he was the former governor of state of Jammu and Kashmir. Recently he was in news because he passed away. So he was the governor first in 1986 and then in 1990. Next is 2021 Asian Elite Men and Women Boxing Championship. Previously it was supposed to be in Delhi, but because of coronavirus now it is being shifted to Dubai. Dubai is in UAE. Next is Praful Chandra Pant. So Mr. PC Pant is retired judge and he has been appointed as the acting chairperson of NHRC. What is NHRC? It is National Human Rights Commission. Answer in comment box whether NHRC is a statutory body or a constitutional body. Next is Parvat Dhara Yojana. So it is a scheme to rejuvenate water resources and it is a scheme by Himachal Pradesh. Next is Mahesh Balasubramanian. So recently Kotak Mahindra Life Insurance Company appointed Mr. Mahesh Balasubramanian as MD. Nuwan Joysa. So Nuwan Joysa is cricketer of Sri Lanka. Recently, why he was in news? Because ICC, that is International Cricket Council, has banned him for 6 years on the grounds of corruption. ICC is International Cricket Council. Headquarters is in UAE. There's one more ICC, International Criminal Court. Answer in comment box where is its headquarters and whether India is a party to International Criminal Court. Actually, this is backed by Rome Statute. Next is UNESCO World Press Freedom Prize 2021. So for this year, it was given to Maria Ressa. This prize is also known as Guillermo Award and it is named after Guillermo Cano, a journalist from Colombia. So this award was given to Maria Ressa. She is the co-founder and CEO of Rappler and she is Filipino-American journalist. Filipino is used for those who are from Philippines. Next is Digital Tax Threshold. So recently CBDT, that is Central Board of Direct Taxes, specified the threshold limits for digital tax for companies like Google, Facebook, Netflix, so that they pay tax in our country. Actually, the problem is that these companies operate from other countries. However, they earn money from our country, still they do not have to pay tax. Now they will have to pay tax depending on these threshold limits. So if any non-resident company whose revenue exceeds 2 crore rupees, this is the threshold for revenue, such company will have to pay tax in our country. Apart from that, there is a user threshold. User threshold means if you have this much number of users. So user threshold limit is 3 lakh. That means if you have more than 3 lakh users in India, then you are liable to pay tax in our country. And these norms will be effective from 1st of April 2022. Next is uranium-214. So recently this isotope of uranium was in news and it is considered as the lightest isotope of uranium. Recently this was created at a research facility in China. Next is Mamata Banerjee. So Ms. Banerjee was in news as she took oath as the Chief Minister of West Bengal for the 3rd time. In this context, Article 164 is important. We had already discussed this issue in our previous lecture. Next is The Bench. So this is a children's book and it is authored by Meghan Markle. Next is Mark Selby. So recently Mr. Selby was in news as he became the world snooker champion. He is from England. Next is Dada Sahab Phalke International Film Festival. So recently 11th Dada Sahab Phalke International Film Festival was organized and the best film jury award is given to Jungle Cry. So this is the name of movie, Jungle Cry. Last is Ko-Jeet. So this is the new initiative launched by Armed Forces. Name of initiative is Ko-Jeet and it is for the mental health of COVID-19 patients. Apart from that, as part of this initiative, Armed Forces will provide support to the existing COVID-19 efforts. Social Security Code 2020. So recently this code was in use as section 142 of this code was invoked. Now, with the help of this section, Labor and Employment Ministry, that is Ministry of Labor and Employment, will be able to collect the Aadhaar card details of the beneficiaries which are covered under different social security schemes. Now, this is going to solve the problem of interstate migrant workers. See, suppose there is a worker from Bihar and he is migrating to Uttar Pradesh. Now, the problem is that there is no unique identity of this worker. That's why the benefits cannot be continued in case of interstate migration. Now, with the help of this Aadhaar card, the worker will be able to take the benefits of different schemes because the registration is based on Aadhaar. So even if a worker migrates from one state to another state, nothing will change. So this is going to help such interstate migrant workers. Now, such workers can register themselves on the portal on the basis of Aadhaar card. That's why this social security code was in use. Now please note that Aadhaar is a unique identity and it is provided by UIDAI, that is Unique Identification Authority of India, and it is under Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology. Next is Chaudhry Ajit Singh. So he was the chief of RLD, that is Rashtriya Lokdal, and he was the former union minister. He passed away recently. Apart from him, recently Manas Behari Verma passed away. He was well-known aeronautical scientist. Next is RBI, that is Reserve Bank of India. So recently RBI imposed penalty of 3 crore rupees on ICICI Bank for violation of RBI directions. Apart from that, RBI was also in news as recently RBI Governor Mr. Shaktikant Das announced a healthcare package of 50,000 crore. So this will be a special liquidity facility and this money will be provided by the banks as loan to different vaccine makers or medical equipment makers. Now please note that the loan provided as a part of this special facility will be classified as PSL, that is Priority Sector Lending, and the banks can give loans under this facility till March 31st of 2022. Next is India's first drive-in vaccination center. So this center has been started in Mumbai. What does this mean? It means you go in your car, you stop your car at the center, someone will come to vaccinate you while you stay in your car. So this is going to be very beneficial for differentially abled people. They won't have to come out of their vehicle for vaccination. Last is Checkmate COVID initiative. So this has been launched by AICF, that is All India Chess Federation. So this is an initiative to help the people who are affected by this COVID pandemic. So these were the most important news events. Test is provided in a separate video. Please check that. Thank you, and that's all for the day.